Well, the Senate blocked a bill on Saturday that would extend a controversial section of the Patriot Act, Section 215. That is the part that allows the NSA's bulk collection of phone records, your cell phone records, your landlines, you name it. But even the author of the law, the person who wrote most of the Patriot Act, says it is being abused and he does not want to see it extended. Listen.
I was the principal author of the Patriot Act that was signed by President Bush in 2011. And I also was the principal author of the two reauthorizations in 2006 and in 2011. Let me say that the revelations about Section 215 were a shock, and that if the bulk collection program was debated by the Congress in each of these three instances, it never would have been approved.
That's what the guy says who wrote that. Let's talk about it with CNN political commentators Ben Ferguson and Marc Lamont. Guys, thanks for being here. Marc, let me begin with you, Marc. You know, it's interesting. Mitch McConnell very upset that he couldn't get the senators to vote on this extension that he wants to see, calling them back in a week to see that happen. This is exposing an interesting divide in the Republican Party because you see Rand Paul so fired up about this, saying absolutely not. Basically, this is un-American. We cannot allow this to continue. And you have a lot of other Republicans, John McCain among them, saying, look, this is needed for national security. Does this matter that we're seeing this divide among the GOP in this?
I think it's, first of all, I think it's healthy that we see division among the Republican Party or the Democratic Party on a particular issue. For the last 6 years, we've seen so much infighting, so much obstruction that people are voting in bloc, irrespective of their actual identity. As a person on the left, it's also fun to watch Lindsey Graham roll his eyes while Rand Paul is talking about this. I love that. But ultimately, I think it comes down to whether or not the soul of the GOP will be on the fringe or whether it will be in the center. I'm not saying one is good or bad per se. I'm just saying that that's what the battle's going to be, and it's going to be a tough road for people like Rand Paul.
We also heard from Mike Huckabee, who's running for president. He spoke about this today a little bit earlier on Fox News. Let's listen.
225 different terrorist plots over the past years since 9/11, and so far, not one of them has been tied directly to the NSA's collection of metadata. So if this is so effective, how come it hasn't resulted in the foil terrorist plots?
So there you also have, Ben, Mike Huckabee saying, no, this should not go any further.
You got a big divide here, and it's a divide within the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I mean, I'll give Rand Paul credit for one thing. He is very consistent on this issue and has been for years since he ran for the Senate the first time. He is one of those that says that you should have an awful lot of protection against your data being taken by the government or monitored by the government if you've done nothing wrong and you're just an American citizen. At the same time, there's others that say on both sides of the aisle that, hey, we do need this data because when we are trying to connect dots, this can be very valuable in stopping terrorists or connecting a terrorist network. And so I'm glad it's kind of taking some time for this to happen because there's brilliant minds on both sides are trying to find this balance.
Wow.
And rarely do you see this many people within both parties disagreeing with one another.
And they think, some people think they found a balance with this sort of amended version, the USA Freedom Act that made it through the House. It's unclear what's going to happen in the Senate. I think it's interesting you bring up Rand Paul, and Marc, I'd like you to weigh on this because he said, quoting Benjamin Franklin, right? He said, if you give up your liberty, you will have neither. If you give up your liberty in exchange for security, you may well wind up with neither. What's interesting here, I think, is a strategy of not only does he believe this, but I think Rand Paul also trying to galvanize this younger voting bloc that was so important to President Obama.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a history of certain candidates on the right galvanizing the young base, talking about civil liberties, talking about limited government, talking about non-interventionism. A guy named Ron Paul did it. Didn't work out so good for him on the presidential front, and that's what Rand Paul has to worry about. He can end up becoming another people's champ like his father, as opposed to someone who win. Again, I'm not even saying he's wrong. I happen to think Rand Paul is right on this issue. But at the end of the day, if he's seen as soft on security or soft on terrorism, which is what his opponents will spin this to be in the primaries, he's going to have a tough road to hoe for the next 9 months. It's going to be very, very challenging for him.
Do you think, Ben, that we need to be hearing more from Hillary Clinton on this?
Yes, but I don't think we're going to because Hillary Clinton's not saying much of anything right now. So whether she'll even get into this or not is something I think will probably be, I don't know, maybe 6 to 9 months from now. That's kind of what I'm guessing. I feel like Hillary's campaign's like a baby. It's going to take about 9 months to see her come around and answer questions. So, we're in the first trimester right now. It's going to take some time.
Mark?
Ben is one of those people that doesn't love when people actually talk to voters. He's one of those. He's becoming a media snob. He's a big TV star now, and he doesn't want people talking to voters. He wants people talking to the media.
All right, guys,
I'm
getting the wrap. I'm getting the wrap.
Problem.
I got to make my producers happy. I got to go. Thanks for being with me. Have a great week. Appreciate it. Ben Ferguson, Marc Lamont Hill.